Parasites, way more common than we realize. It's estimated that 70 to 85% of the US population has parasites, which can show up as unexplained symptoms of all kinds. And in fact, many people go asymptomatic or have no symptoms of parasites for many years before symptoms start to show themselves. Parasites can mess with our health in various ways. They really are involved in all chronic disease to varying degrees. Studies show that parasites can play a role in numerous health issues, including autoimmunity, anemia, cancer, hormonal issues, including PCOS, PMS, or fertility struggles. They can play a role in allergies, mental health issues of all kinds, chronic fatigue, IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, or really digestive issues of all kinds. And the list goes on. This is really why parasites are one key player in all chronic diseases, yet often fly under the radar for a long time and perhaps even an entire lifetime. They're notorious for wreaking havoc both physiologically and psychologically. So before you reach for that 3-month parasite cleanse, or before you visit the doctor to get the anti-parasitic prescription, not so fast, because properly addressing parasites goes way beyond just bug killing, because parasites are really more of a symptom of some deeper mind, body, spirit factors that ultimately need to be addressed for successful parasite cleansing. If you don't address the underlying factors, you often risk either temporarily eliminating parasites or not being able to eliminate them at all. And then you're going to end up on this vicious cycle like I did in my own healing journey. So if you want to learn what can block successful parasite cleansing, this is the video for you. So stick around. Hi there, I'm Sarah Korzeniewski, registered dietitian, functional medicine practitioner, transformational coach, founder of the Organic Dietitian, and co-partner with Jen here at Wellness Code Academy. Today's topic is all too familiar to me on my own healing journey. I actually did discover that I had parasites and did what a lot of people tend to do, which is follow the supplemental protocols to clear parasites, only to find that they kept returning. And I just was scratching my head trying to figure out what was going on. Was I just not taking the right supplements, or was there something more going on? And so I'm going to be sharing with you what I have learned on my own journey in hopes that it will help you and also the work that you do with clients. So first thing that I learned is that parasites are actually really hard to test for. And I actually just recently did a YouTube video that's called Stool Testing, Getting to the Root Cause or a Waste of Money. And so I actually discovered that stool testing, which are often promoted as being a very comprehensive way to look and see what is going on in the digestive system, wasn't really the whole story. So I created a video on it. I recommend that you go and watch it. I'll put the link down here in the notes. Parasites are hard to test for. And really one of the next best things that we can do is in part assess our symptoms. So there's varying symptoms that someone might experience if they're dealing with parasites. And symptoms can be challenging because of course they can happen for many different reasons. They're going to manifest differently in each individual person. And symptoms can be happening for a multitude of reasons. So symptoms are really just messengers to help yourself get an idea that something is going on that needs to be addressed. So parasites are really key players in all poor health states to varying degrees. But here are some of the symptoms that you might look for. Chronic gut issues, but one can also have parasites and not have digestive issues. Digestive issues were definitely part of my role. I also experienced skin issues, in particular eczema and acne. I also dealt with hormonal imbalances. I actually developed a fibroid. I have a history of PCOS. And one of my very embarrassing and annoying symptoms of parasites was a chronically itchy butt. Nothing worse than that. But here are some of the other symptoms that you might look for. And remember, sometimes we can actually have no symptoms at all because symptoms are often the last thing to pop up when there's imbalances going on within our bodies. So our healing philosophy here at Wellness Code Academy is really a truly holistic, whole person, whole system approach to healing, wellness, and life optimization, which is rooted in the dynamic interplay between both physiology and psychology, because the two are not separate. So therefore, we cannot heal one without healing the other, and vice versa. And so when it comes to properly clearing parasites, this approach is no different, which is often why successful clearing of parasites falls short for many, because they are focusing very heavily on a one-size-fits-all, largely biochemical approach. And like I shared with you before, I struggled to eliminate parasites for a long time. I tried every potion and pill that I could get my hands on because I was focusing largely on the killing bugs part and really did not fully understand and therefore wasn't able to address what made me a vulnerable host to parasites in the first place. What makes us a vulnerable host? There's a long list of things, but parasites thrive in those who get run down frequently, lack consistent restorative sleep, are frequently overstressed and dysregulated, hold a lot of stress in one's body, eat inflammatory for them diets, don't get enough sunlight exposure, have lots of unprocessed trauma, have scarcity mindsets, complain, ruminate, or worry a lot, have weak or rigid boundaries, don't prioritize self-care, have lots of bad lifestyle habits, have a high toxic burden, have blood sugar or insulin dysregulation, don't get enough restorative movement, are not happy in their work or relationships, spend too much time on tech and social media, and much more. This is why properly addressing parasites and healing in general commands a truly holistic, whole person, whole system approach. Successful parasite cleansing is a science, a psychology, and an art. I used to think parasites were a root cause because this is what a lot of people are promoting, and this is what a lot of functional training programs are teaching people. And now I understand that without addressing the deeper factors, parasite cleansing can and likely will be a big struggle. So let's talk about the factors, the top factors that can block successful clearing of parasites so that you can be more informed on your own healing journey and in your work with clients. So number one is making sure that we are working towards finding the proper diet for the individual, because foods that are not able to be fully digested can actually feed parasites. And as I always say, there's more to determining if a food is good for you than its nutritional value. It is more about what the individual's gut can properly digest, break down, absorb, and assimilate. And there is no one-size-fits-all diet for parasite cleansing. Nutrition, of course, is not the only factor in healing, but it is a pretty darn important one. And oftentimes I hear clients say, but I eat healthy or I eat clean, which is definitely a great starting point and probably better than most are doing. However, finding the right way of eating for the individual is going to be beyond just that in the vast majority of cases. Again, it all comes down to what that person's digestive system can properly handle, because what doesn't get broken down well is going to continue to feed pathogens of all kinds, including parasites. Number 2 goes hand in hand with the first point, is not addressing all aspects that's causing poor digestion. And healing from anything is often multifactorial, and it's going to take time. Healing is a long game, and optimizing digestion is just one piece of a very complex puzzle. So taking into consideration things like optimizing hydration, mineral balancing, as we teach in our Holistic HTMA Pro program, having sufficient stomach acid, making sure there's adequate bile production, supporting motility or the speed of how things are moving through the digestive system, whether it be too fast or too slow, appropriate diet for the individual, as I mentioned. And the nervous system is actually an integral part of proper digestion, making sure that the nervous system is spending more time in rest and digest mode. These are just a few things to consider when it comes to optimizing digestion. And again, these things are not just about finding the right supplements to support. The next factor is poor drainage and lymphatic flow. You'll often hear people say that the first step in detoxing is to open detox pathways. And while there is some truth to that, I also don't necessarily think that that's the full story, because there's a lot of factors that will impact our ability to detox, including a toxic gut, which is why nutrition and optimizing digestion is so important. And the nervous system is actually an important part of detoxification, because when we are under a lot more stress and we're not spending adequate time in rest and digest mode, then the body actually starts to dial down things like detoxification in order to conserve energy, because it's just spending more time in survival mode. Optimizing and opening up detox pathways is definitely an important step. The lymphatic system plays a vital role in our immune response, and any disruption in its function can cause a buildup of toxins and waste products, creating the ideal environment for parasites to thrive. So my next point goes hand in hand, which is a weakened immune system. And remember, the vast majority of our immune system is actually in the digestive system. So can you see how all of these things are very interrelated? A weakened immune system, which can happen for various reasons, can impede the body's ability to cleanse itself of parasites, leading to prolonged infections, because the immune system's job is to help identify and eliminate parasites. A weakened immune system may not be able to effectively recognize and target these foreign invaders effectively, allowing them to thrive and reproduce in the body. Another factor that can block successful clearing of parasites is not addressing metal toxicity, EMFs or electromagnetic fields, or other infections, including things like H. pylori. The body is very smart, and sometimes it's actually using parasites to help to address a deeper, more important issue. Parasites can actually hold on to things like toxic metals, mold, other infections to help prevent those things from circulating around the body, making it a little bit safer. But ultimately, it tends to make a more toxic environment within our bodies. So without addressing, again, deeper underlying issues, parasites can actually become resistant to treatments and remain stuck inside of us, perpetuating the cycle of illness and systemic imbalances. And one last factor that I wanted to highlight today that can block successful clearing of parasites is a huge factor. So listen up. And it is stress, unresolved trauma, and suppressed emotions. Because as I mentioned, physiology is not separate from psychology. We have to work on both. And accumulated stress, unresolved trauma, nervous system dysregulation, low cellular energy are really the three biggest root causes of all chronic diseases, including parasites, which is a huge reason why just bug killing is not enough. And in our modern world, stress and unresolved trauma and suppressed emotions, and they're really the norm, not the exception, whether someone really realizes it or not. And so what happens when we're under a lot of stress and dealing with unresolved trauma is this causes negative alterations to our nervous system and our endocrine systems and how we respond to environmental inputs. It causes us to get stuck in a high alert danger mode, which then leads mitochondria, which is our energy producing parts of our cells, to shift out of being in peace and relaxing mode and into defense and fighting mode. And when we are stuck in this defense mode, all health promoting functions are down regulated, including digestion and detoxification and immune function. And this chronic stress and trauma also leads to a weak energetic barrier, which is the body's first line of defense against invaders, which is why we say all disease does not begin in the gut. In the vast majority of cases, it actually begins in the energetic barrier. We actually have a YouTube video on that. Again, I'll post the link down in the information box below. So you see, successful parasite cleansing is not straightforward. I really do wish that it was. It is also not a one-size-fits-all approach. We can't create a program that just says, here's the exact steps and here is the exact supplement or medication that you need to take in order to kill your parasites. We wanted to offer you a way to learn the correct approach to successful parasite cleansing. And we wanted to create a program that helped taught you how to find your or your client's bio-individual approach. And we did that by creating Parasite Cleansing Mastery. So I just wanted to spend the next minute showing you a little bit of what's inside of the program. All right, so if you choose to enroll in our Parasite Cleansing Mastery course, I just wanted to give you a quick peek of what you will see as a student on the inside. So we've got our welcome module. We've got some success tips to help you make the most out of this program, whether you are a motivated self-healer or you are a practitioner. And then we go into Intro to Parasites. So this is where we talk about the truths about parasite cleansing. How do you acquire them? What are the different types? Understanding the impact of parasites on health, the limitations of stool testing, clues on blood chemistry, even the importance of doing parasite cleansing with your whole house, including any pets that you might have. And of course, we've got some great handouts in there as well. And then we go into the holistic healing overview, the Wellness Code Academy's whole person, whole system approach to healing from anything, including parasites, the nutrition fundamentals, the role of minerals, and then we've got some detox guides and some nutrition guides and mineral tip guides in there as well. Then we go into module 3, which is phase 1, which is preparing for parasite cleansing. We can't often just jump right into killing the bugs. There's some important steps that need to take place before we do that. And some people's bodies, depending on their state of health, might not actually be able to handle parasite cleansing yet without some important actions taken to prepare the body to be able to do so. So we go through on how to actually assess this, how to support this process to help increase the success of getting rid of parasites and improving health. Then phase 2 is actually the eradication phase. We also talk about H. pylori in there and talk about supporting the digestive process, which I talked about being really important. Optimizing digestion, different products. We do not have here's the one cleansing protocol everyone needs to follow. We go through how to actually help to assess what products might work best for you or your client with some basics on energy testing, but there's a whole entire guide in there with many different products to consider. And then we go into troubleshooting or navigating any die-off or upheavals, or if someone is really hypersensitive, because healing is not a straight shot up. It is very up and down, and being able to navigate those processes. And then finally, module 6 is maintenance and prevention. So again, how do you work to prevent the parasites from coming back, or how do you at least maintain being able to keep your body clear of the harmful parasites? So what to do when you're traveling, the importance of yearly cleanses, so that you can really help to maintain health for the long haul versus this just being a quick fix process. And then you get a certificate of completion. So that is a look inside of PCM, or Parasite Cleansing Mastery. That's a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. Please be sure to learn more about all of our training programs that we offer, including Parasite Cleansing Mastery, by visiting www.wellnesscodeacademy.com. We hope to see you on the inside, and we will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.